Christy. How are you today?
Great. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited to be able to dive in and talk to you about how women and business owners can actually lean into more of their strengths so they can actually use those and leverage them to really be able to optimize and create really the best business that can help them. And I absolutely love everything that you're doing. So I just wanted to welcome you for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. I'm excited about this.
Yeah. And the one thing I think is so fun as we're out and about and we're doing business and we're seeing influencers and we're seeing people that we feel like we have connections with. Um, I actually just recently heard you share that you had been involved in Young Life as a kid. And I thought that was so cool because I actually became a Christian through Young Life. So I thought that was awesome to really be able to say to you. I thought that was cool that we had that connection.
Yeah, I wasn't raised in the church. We went to church on like Easter and Christmas growing up. And it was sophomore year of Young Life at Sharp Top Cove when I became a Christian and gave my life to the Lord. And it's really cool because then I became a Young Life leader later in college and then took kids to camp, and I was able to take kids back to Sharp Top Cove. And then I had this crazy farm story where I lived on a farm and had animals. And then when God called me to move kind of to the city and be a normal person outside the country, I donated all those animals to Windy Gap, where I had been horse wrangler on summer staff. So yeah, I've got deep roots in Young Life and love that organization.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, Windy Gap was the camp that we always went to, and then we went up to New York for like our summer trips. So that's super cool. But I am excited to be able to talk to you today about this concept of really being able to lean into our strengths. And I want to just kind of kick off our conversation today and say, like, on my journey of hearing more about you and your experiences as a child, really being raised by your mom and spending a lot of time seeing her run her business and making cakes. How do you think that has really been a part of your personal journey and your background as it really has prepared where God has for you now as a leader?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I think that one of the things we don't understand oftentimes is that our background, our childhood, our family dynamic, what our history was for us created a version of normal. So,
Mm.
so whatever we were raised with, we believed that was normal because it's all we knew. So for me, being raised by a really strong woman that was persistent and scrappy and a survivor and moving and shaking and making things happen, persistent to a fault, persevered through everything, just if there's a will, there's a way kind of woman. That's what I thought life was. That's how I thought you did life. So even when things were hard, it didn't discourage me. It's like, oh no, where there's a will, there's a way. And so what's interesting is it's shaped so much of my personality,
Mm.
but also my value system and my beliefs about life. And certainly exposure to her business instilled a love of business in me. And then I went on to business school. I graduated with a degree in business, then became a certified business coach. I had my own side businesses. So it's amazing how it started early, but then it just continued to evolve and unfold as God kind of brought me through new chapters, new opportunities, and new seasons. But I think growing up with that example in my mom has been so powerful for me. And I think a lot of times we underestimate how powerful our past can be in shaping our beliefs. Now, we don't have to live there. We don't have to stay there. So if you grew up and you didn't, have that example, it doesn't mean you have to stay stuck. You just have to learn a new way of doing things. You can change how you do it. Most people just don't realize they have a choice
Mm.
in changing what they want their future to look like, their family to look like, their business to look like. But for me, I got to see it firsthand. So I was very grateful for that.
Oh no, I love that. And like you said, we're all products of our own experiences in our past. And I think oftentimes business owners try to like shove some of that down in a corner in a box rather than kind of allowing some of those experiences and those emotions to kind of like fuel us for the businesses that we're trying to build and pursue. And so as we lean into talking about strengths, I'd like to kind of maybe go about this in a little bit different of a format and by asking you this idea of what specific mistakes do you see people in business, especially women, making as it relates to really even just identifying what those strengths are?
Okay, specific to identifying, I would say they don't know they have them. And I know it
Mm.
sounds so simple, but so many people think that they don't have strengths. They don't have unique giftings or skills. They think, well, everybody else has them, but I don't. So one of the things I wrote about in my book, Business Boutique, I walk women through 5 E questions. And that's what I was just jotting down, kind of making some notes about even before we went live here, because if you've never taken a personality assessment, which many people have, or read a book on what Strengths Finders or Myers-Briggs or Enneagram, whatever, these 5E questions can just help you identify what your strengths are in a very quick and easy way. So I want to give you these 5E questions. The
Awesome.
first one is, what do you enjoy? What do you enjoy? Typically, the things we're good at are things that we enjoy. I don't know about you, but I don't really like doing stuff I'm bad at. I'm terrible at anything with hand-eye coordination. I don't like playing softball. I'm never going to make contact with the bat. Okay. Like, I like doing things that I'm good at. So what do you enjoy? Usually those align with your strengths. A second question is, what gives you energy? When you're in your strengths, it's not that you don't get tired or have to work hard. It's just that good kind of tired where you go to sleep tired, you wake up and you can't wait to do it all again. Things that are your weaknesses drain your energy so fast. So for example, I can be on stage for 3 days straight speaking all day. And I'm tired at the end of the day, but it's that like awesome, I can't wait to do it again because it fuels me. You ask me to put data in a spreadsheet, I got 5 minutes and I need a nap. Like, it just wears me out. So looking at what is giving you energy is a good indicator of what your strengths are. So what do you enjoy? What gives you energy? The third one, and this is really powerful, what comes effortless for you? It's easy to you. Now, I want to be careful here because this is the area of your strengths that is the easiest to undervalue. Because here's what happens. You assume because it's easy for you, it's easy for everyone else.
Right.
Because it's effortless for you, it's effortless for everyone else. Because it's obvious to you, it's obvious to everyone else. Heather, I can't tell you how many times I've sat down to write a blog, write a book, write an article, write a stage talk, and I thought, this is so obvious. They're going to boo me right out of there. Well, it's obvious to you because it's in your head. It's not anyone else's head. That skill that's so, singing, painting, organizing, bookkeeping, it's easy for you because God gifted you that way. You have those strengths, those unique strengths. It's actually really difficult for someone else. And so that is something unique you bring to the marketplace through your business and the service that you provide and the products that you offer. So that's a really easy one to undervalue because you just assume everyone else feels like you do and thinks like you do, and they don't. So what do you enjoy? What gives you energy? What's effortless for you? A fourth question to ask yourself is, what do others encourage in you? So sometimes identifying our strengths comes through the gift of other people's compliments. What are people always saying? You're so good at that. You're a natural. You should start a business doing that. Sometimes we can't see what they see. And so it's really helpful for you to pay attention to those patterns, and then it will give you insight into those encouragements and what your strengths might be. And then the fifth E question is, where do you excel? Where do you perform above average in relation to other people? Now, don't be so humble here. We're like, oh, nothing. Nothing. Humility. I excel at. No, listen, if God made you good at something, own it. And more than that, step into it because the world needs what you have to offer. So looking at where you are uniquely above average, where you excel and perform at a higher level than other people, whatever that may be, that is going to give you a good indicator of what your strengths are. So when you answer these 5E questions, it gives you good direction of what your strengths might be. So I'd say the biggest mistake that people make is just not knowing what they are, like you said, with identifying. But I would say the second biggest mistake is really around that idea of what's effortless for you, because so many people make the mistake of thinking that their strengths are everyone else's strengths, or their strengths aren't strengths at all because they just assume everyone can do it and they can't. And so just really understanding that you have something unique to bring to the world.
And I think that's so true. Like, I see in business as I'm working with clients or if I'm teaching that so many people have this negative, it's not even self-talk. It's not even the world. It's themselves. Like, they lean into this like negative dialogue that they just play over and over in their head. And so I think that's so important as you talk about that and you talk about asking those questions and really leaning into saying, like, God made me. I'm wired in such a way that may be super different than even others around us. But when we can really just identify those things that we're excellent at and that we really enjoy, it's a great piece to make sure that you've got that incorporated into your business and your business model.
Well, so you said something I think that's really powerful right there too. We don't have to go into all the thoughts and negative self-talk that we have. But what's interesting, I think women uniquely do this. And I don't have specific research on it, but I think one of the things that women do, Part of it's insecurity, part of negative voices in our head. We all have that. Research shows that the average person has 30,000 thoughts a day, 80% of which are negative. That's insanity. Like, that's neuroscience. So there's a whole deep well we could go into there. But there's one specific thing with women that I think is interesting. In addition to that, which is at play, I think women are so scared of coming across as narcissistic, as self-absorbed, conceited. And so we go to great lengths to diminish ourselves, to play small. We don't want to come across as bossy or too big or too something for somebody. And so we downplay our strengths. We make ourselves smaller in an effort to be humble. We think it's, and especially as believers, oh my gosh, the church, we're so uncomfortable with our strength. We're so uncomfortable with our giftings, especially as women. Now, I just want to call something out. If you do not acknowledge the way that you are gifted, okay, aside from the fact that the world's missing out on it because you're not stepping into it, aside from that, if you're just dismissing it and diminishing it with your words, your language, how you present yourself, how you talk about yourself, it's not just harmful in terms of the impact you can make, it's a lie. Now, I want to cut to that. If Keith Urban goes on television and goes, oh, I'm not a good guitar player. Yeah, this whole thing. Yeah, I'm not a good guitar player. That's not him being humble. That's false humility, and it's a lie. He's an absolutely brilliant guitar player. If Michael Jordan goes on television, many people are watching The Last Dance right now, brilliant documentary on Michael Jordan and his life and his legacy of basketball. If he goes on television and goes, I'm not really good at basketball. Oh, it's just this little sport I play sometimes. That's a lie. It's simply untrue. It's false humility. And so I just want to give women the encouragement that when you acknowledge your strengths and step into them unapologetically, I don't mean pushing people around. I don't mean thinking the world revolves around you. That's not at all what we're talking about. But when you come from a place of strength of saying, God, I see what you did here. I acknowledge and I agree with you. You have gifted me with this, and I agree that this is a strength, and I'm going to use it for your glory. And I'm not going to boast about me because I'm so awesome. Look at me. I'm going to boast about you and what you did and what you can do. Look what God did. I'm so grateful for this gift. It's a gift. We boast about gifts. No, we didn't make it. You didn't make you. You may work on those strengths, but you don't have to worry about coming across as conceited if you hold your life with open hands and say, this is a gift God gave me, and I have a responsibility and an opportunity to use it to bring him glory. So I just want to call out this weird concern we have about being egotistical and say, that's not what we're talking about. These efforts to be humble are false humility, and they're just a straight up lie. And man, the world needs what you have to offer. People, I tell people all the time from Matthew 5:16, you are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. Do you understand, women listening right now, that when you shine in your gifts, people see God? So shine. We need you to shine. People are going to see God when you do.
I love that. I love that. So how can people find those strengths if they maybe walk through those processes of what you just shared and they may identify those strengths? How can they incorporate that into their business to really try to create that best life that they're going after?
Absolutely. So here's just a really tactical thing you can do. Make a list. Make a list of everything in your business you have to do. Okay. And there's a lot. We know there's a lot. Here's all the things you have to do: projects, tasks, to-do items, whatever. Make a list of everything you have to do. And then I want you to go through and circle everything that falls in your strengths. Everything that excites you, energizes you, feels easy for you, feels fun for you. Circle all those things. Those are the things you're going to do. All the things that you did not circle, you're going to find a different solution for, and you're going to write that out to the side. So here's some possibilities. Automate it. Is there something you have to do that can be automated instead? Right now, you hate writing emails. Can you automate your emails, your social media? Can you schedule in advance? Automate is an option. Outsource or delegate. If you have team members, you can delegate. You can outsource to outside people or companies to have some help with that. Just ask for help. You can just ask. Maybe you don't hire someone. Maybe you just ask, like, hey, I've got this friend, someone in my church that's really good at this. Just ask for help. Another option, most often this is an option, is just not do it. We have so many things on our to-do list that we don't have to do. And we hold our feet to the fire saying, oh, I have to do this. I have to make handmade invitations for my son's birthday party. Your son's one. He doesn't know if they're handmade or not. You don't have to do that. You made that up and then you're holding yourself to it. So look at that list. Are there things you don't have to do that you can just like ignore them? Just decide not to because you made the list to begin with and it's your business, by the way. Other than paying taxes and like feeding your kids, most things you don't have to do. So outsource, automate, delegate, ask for help, ignore. Those are things that are options for you of what to do with your weaknesses. But I will encourage you, if there's something you have to do and you're a little bit on the fence about paying money for it, you are going to be the most successful when you stay in your strengths. Years ago, before I was even, had Business Boutique or anything, I tried to do my own website with like WordPress because I didn't want to pay the money. I didn't have any money. I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not a web developer. After an entire weekend of staring at my computer, trying to figure out widgets and plugins and code, I wanted to throw my computer out the wall and it sucked. It was awful. I finally paid someone to do my website and it was outstanding. I've never been so happy to pay that money. So find the things that are worth the investment, because what's going to happen is when you stay in your strengths, you're going to do what you're best at. So the quality is high and you're having fun. When you let someone else do the things that you suck at, the quality is high because they're best at it. You're having fun because you're not having to do it. And it happens faster. Everything is faster, higher quality, and more fun when you stay in your strengths and you pay other people to stay in their strengths to do the things you're not good at. You're not good at everything. Nobody is. So get creative with those things you're not good at.
Ooh, that is so, so good. So Christy, to the person that is listening to this conversation that has felt success in their business and they're maybe trying to like scale, what might you say when they are maybe asking the questions of what it looks like to maybe surround themselves with either mentors or possibly growing a team strategically? What thoughts might you share with them?
Yeah, so two things. One, I would say first, define how you want to scale. There's not one right way to scale. Depending on who you talk to, who you listen to, the articles that you read, scaling and growing, people say, I want to grow my business. It's like, how? There's so many different ways to grow. One traditional route is to hire a team, lead a team, add locations, add product lines, lines of revenue to your business through this traditional route. Maybe that's right for you. Maybe it's not. If you don't want to be a leader and be responsible for paying other people, then you can find ways to scale your business and not hire and lead a team, because there's a whole different level of responsibility when you're building a team. Maybe that's right for you. Maybe it's not. But if it's not, it doesn't mean you can't grow. It just means that you're going to look at ways to scale your revenue, lower your cost of goods, increase maybe your digital products, your online presence. There's other ways to scale and grow. So I just want you to define how you want to grow. So I think that would be really important. The second thing is find people who are doing what you want to do, who are living the life you want to live, who are leading in the way that you want to lead, who have what you want, and then study them, get to know them. So for example, there are a handful of couples that I just am so impressed by in their marriage, and I learn from them. I study them. I pay attention to how they have weekly date nights and how they talk about their spouse and how they invest in their marriage. I want to have a marriage like that. So I study these people. I get to know these people. I learn from these people, and I try to incorporate habits into my own life that create that marriage, that outcome that I want. Same thing with great parents. I study people that I think are great parents, great leaders, great speakers. I've never in my life, since I've become a speaker, sat in the audience of a speaker and not taken notes on how they did what they did. Not just what they taught, but okay, I see what they did there. They had a joke there and then they did that, so just study the people that are doing what you want to do and the type of people that you want to be, study that and begin to incorporate that into your own life.
Oh, that's awesome. And I think that that's so powerful. And many of the suggestions that you've given on during today's conversation are practical things. You don't have to go and pay someone thousands of dollars to be able to incorporate like the great insight that you've shared with us today, Christy. Like, pay attention. Who's further than you? Who's 7 steps ahead of you? And say, I'm going to actually maybe pay attention to the emails that they're sending out, or I'm going to just start paying attention. And I don't say that by any means of I want to go copy them, but I'm just saying be inspired by the people that are farther along than you and see how you can incorporate that with your strengths and with your own business.
There's a great book called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. It's really short. It's a really fast read. But he basically gives you permission to not have an original idea. The best artists look at other artists and make it their own. And that's what leaders do. You learn from other people. Rachel Hollis is an example. Her entire Start Today journal was based on a talk she heard from Chris Hogan with writing down your goals. Like, you have no idea how you can take something someone else is doing and make it your own, and it becomes a way you lead or a way you grow your business and a way you use your strengths. So I love that. Yeah, you can let people further ahead of you intimidate you or inspire you, and it's really your choice.
That's so good. Okay, so what candid insight would you share, Christy, with us about how leaning into those strengths can actually separate you from others and allow it to truly be like an asset in business?
Well, I'll give you a silly example. So I think if we understand how uniquely we were created, then it gives you permission to be that, because you no longer are trying to be what someone else wants or what you think everybody else should be, or gain approval of other people. You're going, no, I'm really good with me. Like, God made me like me, and I'm okay with that. These strengths, these whatever. So this is a silly example, but just last week I walked into the room and my husband was watching some interview with John Rich. And I guess they were talking about, like, how they wrote songs or something, but I only caught like a minute of it. But this was what was in that minute. He said, yeah, I was sitting here with Gretchen Wilson and we were watching CMT, and it was a music video of Shania Twain. And Gretchen Wilson is sitting here and she's got a dip can and a beer bottle and a cigarette, and she's just, wearing her cutoff jeans. And she looked at that television. She said to me, I'm never going to make it in country music. And I said, why? She said, because if that's what you got to be, I'm never going to make it. She's so polished and beautiful and classy and perfect. That ain't me. So I guess I'm never going to make it if I got to be that. And he said, instead of shying away from that, why don't you put a magnifying glass on that? And we sat down and rewrote the song Redneck Woman. That song is Gretchen Wilson saying, this is who I am. Right. And I'm okay with that. And what's amazing is all the women that are like that sing that anthem. So when you do what you were created to do, when you step into your unique strengths, there's a whole world of people that are going, oh, me too. I connect to you. I get it too. I want to be like that too. I struggle with that too. And you're building community. You become a voice for people that are created similar to you, that you guys have things in common. So I think it just gives you permission really to be who you're created to be unapologetically. It gives you such a confidence in yourself, and that confidence affects every relationship, every sale, every leadership decision that you make. Not because confidence is not being narcissistic. Confidence is not thinking, I'm so awesome, I'm just going to do it all myself. No, I'm confident in who God created me to be and who he is, and I'm confident in him. I love, the other day I was having a conversation with Annie F. Downs, and she said, the more I learn about God, the more sure I am about me. And I thought, ooh, that's good. So that's the unique thing you're bringing to business, is this confidence in how you were created to be. And there's only one you. No one can do what you can do like you can do it. No one has your unique set of skills and story and passion and strengths and perspective that you bring to the work that you do. And so I just think when you remember that, talk about unique advantage, like no one else has it. So it's really cool to see women feel freed up to step into that.
I love that. And I know that everyone's going to really be encouraged by today's episode. So Christy, what I would love, would you take a second and tell everyone where you like to hang out on social media, and maybe guide everyone to where they might be able to come to learn a little bit more about what you're up to, or how they may ultimately be able to learn more from you?
Yeah. So businessboutique.com is my website with, our resources, the podcast articles, all that good stuff, the book, and we got an event this fall. So anything you want to know about that. And then I use Facebook and Instagram, but Instagram I probably use more, and it's at Christy B. Wright. B as in boy, Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T. And I'm always hanging out there. So it's fun.
Awesome. Very cool. And guys, we're going to have show notes for today's episode. So if you want to be able to easily access the Business Boutique website, or you want to be able to get all the social media followings for Christy, be sure just to check out sweetteasocialmarketing.com/episode 157. And we will include links for all of that juicy goodness where you can easily go and catch up with Christy. All right, Christy, we end each and every episode by having a super fast, quick, rapid fire challenge for our guests. Do you think that you can handle it?
Ready.
Okay. Beach or mountains?
100% beach.
London or Vancouver?
Vancouver.
Favorite productivity tool?
Probably Evernote. I was going to say something else, but probably Evernote.
Okay. Tell us one person that you would think who has helped you in your career over the last 5 years.
I mean, I can't not say Dave Ramsey. Like I've worked for this company for 10 years. And what's amazing that most people know is I started as a project manager and he took a chance on me. And everything I get to do because he believed in me and gave me a chance. So 100% him.
Awesome. Awesome. And our last question, tell everybody one thing you love to do when you're not working.
Projects. I just love house projects. I'm like, why don't I just sit still and take a bath? No, I'm always getting into something.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Christy. We've loved having you on the Business Jesus Sweet Tea podcast. Hope you are super blessed. And so thank you for coming and just diving in and sharing your wisdom with our community.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.